Top 20 Narcissists Who Fucked Up. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Many narcissists have unremarkable lives. They rumble along at the bottom of the barrel, never achieving anything, lurching from relationship to relationship, in and out of work, falling out with their family, getting into fights in bars, and generally being pains in the backside to all around. Others have a relatively functional life, but have individuals behind closed doors who suffer as a consequence of the narcissist's behavior. There are other narcissists who are hugely successful, and they have a number of skeletons in the cupboard, but they're particularly adept at keeping them in the cupboard while they face worldwide adoration, wealth, praise, and achieve many things. Narcissists adopt different stratas of society and life, but there are also a number who did very well and then somehow find themselves in the town known as Fucked Upsville. Their narcissism enabled them to climb into the rarefied stratosphere of success, recognition, achievement, and wealth, but then their narcissism also caused them to self-implode. The necessity of asserting control over people, behaving with a sense of entitlement, acting without accountability, demonstrating haughty behaviors, being manipulative, acting without emotional empathy, resulted in these individuals falling from grace and finding themselves lying on a very thin mattress, which is piss-stained and vomit-covered, in Fucked Upsville, perhaps wondering, how the dickens did I get here? The fact is that the way that their narcissism functions, it causes the problems as well as enables them to achieve, and you're going to have 20 of examples of where that has happened. So strap yourselves in, settle back, ensure that there's nothing in your mouth in terms of anything that shouldn't be there to begin with, as it's liable to end up across your screen, as we now make our way through the top 20 narcissists who fucked up. Number 20, Anthony Weiner. It's not often that somebody's name turns out to be prophetic in securing them a fast track to Fucked Upsville, but that certainly proved to be the case when it came to Anthony Weiner. Old Dick Waver Weiner had enjoyed a solid political career previously. He got a degree, did some time working for Charles Schumer, which presumably did not include sending pictures of his member to colleagues, before avoiding any suggestion of a visit to Fucked Upsville by becoming New York City's youngest councilman in 1991, being the youngest in the city's history. It was all looking rosy, as he tackled fascinating topics such as cleaning up graffiti and reviving the Sheepshead Bay area. After avoiding any penis-related chicanery, he then served as representative for New York's 9th Congressional District from 1999, where he consistently carried 60% of the vote, presumably because he wasn't inviting them to vote on Weiner's Weiner. A steadfast political career so far. But then Weiner clearly thought, you know what, fuck this shit, this is boring. I need to throw some spicy salami into the mix. Accordingly, seeing the train for Fucked Upsville was soon to depart, on May 27, 2011, Weiner decided to use his public Twitter account to send a link to a picture of his erect wiener concealed by boxer briefs. Reports that the boxer briefs were Bob the Builder briefs remains unconfirmed. The link was sent to a 21-year-old female college student because that's an entirely natural thing to do. Demonstrating what a douche canoe he is, Weiner adopted for the never-used-before and entirely unique defense of, my account was hacked. Poor old Weiner found himself repeatedly hacked, as a shirtless picture of him was then sent to a woman on the internet. Presumably, she had a penchant for men who looked like pepperamis, and another that was sexually graphic. He then clambered on the express to Fucked Upsville, as he now realized he had actually sent the pictures, and also that he'd engaged in a series of inappropriate conversations with 6 women over the previous 3 years, which included exchanging photos also. Weiner decided to resign his seat in Congress and decided that he didn't want to go to Fucktupsville after all, because in April 2013 he announced his return to politics as a candidate for mayor of New York City. It would appear, however, that Weiner got stuck in the doors of the train to Fucktupsville because he never got off it, and on the 23rd of July 2013, more Weiner had been shared by Weiner under the name of Carlos Danger. Clearly, this boy was not only heading to Fucktupsville, but he was going total wild man on the journey there. He had been sexting and sending pictures to between 6 to 10 women. He just loved that electronic Weiner-wielding action too much. Weiner fucked up the election and finished in 5th place with 4.9% of the vote. But he wasn't done yet. He wanted the residents of Fucktupsville to truly know he had arrived. It emerged that the dirty pervert had been sexting with a 15-year-old girl, and he entered a plea bargain to a single charge of transferring obscene material to a minor. Weiner got 21 months in the slammer, with 3 months supervised release, and had to register as a sex offender. Not only that, he ended up as the inspiration for a storyline in the television series Homeland. Thus, his Weiner activity got labelled as Congressman Dick Johnson, an apt name if there ever was one, and Weiner found himself arriving at a lonely and dark railway station named Fucktupsville. Number 19. Tonya Harding. Our next resident of Fucktupsville dropped out of high school to devote her time to ice skating. Harding trained as a figure skater throughout her youth with coach Diane Rawlinson. In the mid-1980s, she began working her way up the competitive skating ladder. She placed 6th at the 1986 US Figure Skating Championships, 5th in 1987 and 1988, and 3rd in 1989. She then won the October 1989 Skate America competition, and was considered a strong contender at the February 1990 US Figure Skating Championships. She won the 1991 US Ladies Singles title with the event's first 6.0 technical merit score since Janet Lynn's 1973 performance at the US Championships. At the September 1991 Skate America competition, Harding recorded 3 more firsts. The first ever woman to complete a triple axel in the short program, the first woman ever to successfully execute 2 triple axels in a single competition, and the first ever to complete a triple axel in combination with a double toe loop. Things were looking rosy for our Madam of the Ice Rink. But then one morning, a turd-coloured envelope plopped on the mat and invited her to come and live in Fucktupsville. Her dim-witted husband, Jeff Gululi, announced that sounds like a great idea, and the pair of them then decided to shit all over Harding's skating career by plotting to essentially kneecap her fellow US skating rival, Nancy Kerrigan. This culminated in her husband deciding to head up Fucktupsville first to ensure he made it all purty for his wife as he received a 2-year prison sentence. Harding was in trouble for apparently violating the USFSA's Code of Ethics and was subject to a criminal investigation. As the removal van chugged towards Fucktupsville, it seemed like it might make a detour to Plea Bargain City, as Harding managed to negotiate a plea bargain with regard to the change of conspiracy to hinder prosecution, so that there would be no further prosecution. But Harding then decided that Plea Bargain City wasn't shitty enough, and therefore opted to go to Fucktupsville, where it really was at. Deciding it was more fun in a removal van than attending her USFCA disciplinary hearing, Harding ended up being stripped of her 1994 US Championship title and was banned for life from USFCA events as either skater or coach. Her behaviours meant that she ended up as persona non grata, and the planning on her attack of Kerrigan meant very few skaters and promoters would be bothered to work with her. Accordingly, dancing on the ice with stars in their underwear would be denied to her. But Harding was not done yet. She needed to make her mark in Fucked-Upsville. Her bazookas were being waved around in a 1991 videotape clip, and they ended up being aired in The Sun and Penthouse. Deciding, therefore, that she may as well apply for long-term residency of Fucked-Upsville, Harding agreed that a sex tape she made with her husband could be sold to Penthouse, and therefore it could be marketed, so people could enjoy her experiencing the triple axel in the sack. To cap it all, she then appeared in the 5th celebrity edition of Worst Cucks in America and managed to win it, something that accords her particular celebrity status in Fucked-Upsville. Number 18. Jussie Smollett. Hate crime fantasist and resident of Fucked-Upsville, Jussie Smollett finds himself at number 18. Smollett began his acting career as a child model in New York City and later worked as an extra on the New York shot movies Mo Better Blues and New Jack City. He went on to act in the films The Mighty Ducks and Rob Reiner's North. On television, he starred alongside his 5 real-life siblings in the short-lived ABC sitcom On Our Own. In 2012, Smollett returned to acting with the leading role in Patrick Ian Polk's LGBT-themed comedy drama The Skinny. Also that year, he released an EP titled The Poison Hearts Club. He later guest-starred on The Mindy Project and Revenge. In 2014, Smollett was cast as Jamal Lyon, a gay musician struggling to gain the approval of his father, Luscious, opposite Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard in the Fox drama series Empire. His role was hailed as groundbreaking for its positive depiction of a black gay man on television. Smollett reprised his role in subsequent seasons and directed an episode of the 4th season in 2017. Life was looking decent for our professional victim. With a rising acting career and ticking all those inclusivity boxes, surely an endorsement for Bud Light would soon be in the offing. However, Smollett decided that he fancied a move to Fucked-Upsville, where the air stinks and the water tastes of Lizzo's sweaty crotch. He engineered this move to the arse end of failure by concocting a supposed attack on himself and behaving like a grade A bell end with a massive dose of victimhood. On January 29, 2019, Smollett told police that he was physically attacked outside his apartment building, along with the use of racial and homophobic slurs. Smollett was treated at Northwestern Memorial Hospital and was released in good condition later that morning. A subsequent police investigation found that Smollett paid 2 brothers who were work acquaintances of his to stage the assault. On February 20th, 2019, Smollett was charged by a grand jury with a Class 4 felony for filing a false police report. On March 26, 2019, all charges filed against Smollett were dropped. It looked as though that move to Fucked-Upsville had actually been called off. However, Smollett appeared undecided, and all of a sudden a trip to Fucked-Upsville was on the cards once again. On April 12, 2019, the city of Chicago filed a lawsuit in the Circuit Court of Cook County against Smollett for the costs, totaling over $130,000 of overtime authorities expended investigating the hoax. Showing that he really was a twat of the highest order and a deserved resident of Fucked-Upsville, in November 2019, Smollett filed a countersuit against the city of Chicago, alleging he was the victim of mass public ridicule and harm, and arguing he should not be made to reimburse the city for the cost of the investigation. His fuck-witted behaviour clearly caused a stink down at City Hall, because after the charges were dropped, allegations of favouritism and leniency were made against the prosecutor, Kim Foxx. In June 2019, Fox asked the state to conduct an independent inquiry by a special investigator. On February 11, 2020, after further investigation by a special prosecutor was completed, Smollett was indicted again by a Cook County grand jury on 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct about making 4 false police reports. On June 12, 2020, a judge rejected Smollett's claim that his February charge violated the principle of double jeopardy, basically saying, "You're a twat, and we all know it, you massive arse of a victim." His trial began in November 2021, and on December 9th, Smollett was found guilty of 5 of the 6 counts. It was now full steam ahead to Fucked-Upsville. On March the 10th, 2022, he was sentenced to serve 150 days in county jail and 2.5 years on probation. Smollett was also ordered to make restitution to the city of Chicago of just over $120,000 and fined $25,000. Apart from playing himself in a documentary about the hoax, his acting career has fallen off a cliff, and at the bottom of that cliff is a tin shack where Smollett now resides, in Fucked-Upsville. Number 17. Armie Hammer. Imagine you're a handsome young chap. You come from a wealthy background because your paternal great-grandfather was oil tycoon and philanthropist Armand Hammer, and you have embarked on an acting career which has met with some success. Hammer began his acting career with guest appearances in several television series. His first leading role was as Billy Graham in the 2008 film Billy, The Early Years, and he gained wider recognition for his portrayal of the twins Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss in David Fincher's biographical drama film The Social Network, for which he won the Toronto Film Critics Association Award for Best Supporting Actor. Hammer portrayed Clyde Tolson in the biopic J. Edgar, played the title character in the western The Lone Ranger, and starred as Ilya Kuryakin in the action film The Man from U.N.C.L.E. In 2017, he starred in Luca Guadagnino's romantic drama Call Me By Your Name, for which he received a nomination for the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, and a nomination for the Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Male. The following year, he portrayed Martin D. Ginsburg in the biopic On the Basis of Sex. On Broadway, he starred in a production of Straight White Men in 2018. Life is looking good. Good looks, good work, good background, but then, all of a sudden, Hammer decided that he fancied a stroll down to Fucked-Upsville to take in the damaged and dispossessed in the town of loser narcissists which had very much fucked up. In January 2021, an anonymous Instagram account released screenshots it claimed were texts Hammer had sent to various women. Clearly channeling the spirit of Wiener, he then denied the messages were real and called them an online attack. The messages contained references to various sexual fantasies, some violent, autre, or both. While many have endorsed the authenticity of the texts, it has been noted that they are selectively edited to redact the consent and willing involvement of the other party. A woman who claimed she was in a relationship with Hammer told the New York Post page 6 that he had subjected her to emotional abuse. She said she attended a hospitalization program for PTSD as a result of the relationship. Another woman who claimed to have been in a relationship with Hammer for 4 months in 2020 also told page 6 that he had exhibited unusual desires and had physically harmed her. Despite denials, people were not buying it, and Hammer, instead of being known for his handsome visage and ascendant acting career, found himself labelled as an online sex pest and potential cannibal. Welcome to Fucked-Upsville. Fucked-Upsville then decreed that his acting career go arse over tit, so it did. Following the allegations, Hammer dropped out of the film Shotgun Wedding, and his leading role in the Paramount drama miniseries The Offer stepped away. He also was removed from the Starz series Gaslit, the Broadway play The Minutes, and was removed from Billion Dollar Spy. Talent agency William Morris Endeavour dropped Hammer as a client, perhaps to make way for the Duchess of Delusion, and it was reported that his publicist would no longer represent him. In December 2021, it was revealed that his role in the Taika Waititi film That Next Girl Wins had been reshot, with Will Arnott taking over Hammer's role. Also in January, the Grand Cayman police spoke to Hammer about videos leaked from his private Instagram account in which he stated he was having sexual relations with Miss Cayman in the Cayman Islands. The actor subsequently issued an apology in an audio message to the Cayman Compass clarifying that the woman he referred to in the videos was not associated with Miss Cayman Islands beauty pageant, ensuring that he was also telling porky pies. Consolidating his status in Fucked-Upsville, his wife decided it was curtains for their relationship, resulting in divorce this year, and Hammer was living in the Cayman Islands to be near his ex-wife and their children, and was said to have a job selling timeshares, after a previous stint working as a manager for an apartment complex. Thus, whilst he may have been living in the Cayman Islands, he was, in actuality, just another resident of Fucked-Upsville. our first of the 20 narcissists who have fucked up. Join me in part 2 as we meet more of them.